If you want to see me use this Pat McGrath palette for the first time, the Bronze Seduction from the Mothership collection, then stick around. Good morning! Let's get this out of the way first of all. If you like this kind of video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like this kind of video production in general on the channel, then please consider subscribing. That would be fantastic. I have my coffee. I am happy. I did my base. If you are curious to know what I've got on my face so far, I won't get into all the skincare, but I can give you the primary items that I used, namely a couple of palettes. So I used the NARS Hot Tryst, very flashy palette. And I always think I'm going to get the names wrong, so I'm just going to point to what I used. I used this blush. Oh, sorry. I used this blush and this highlighter, and I used those two because I felt like it went best with the colors that I think I'm going to end up using out of the Bronze Seduction. And then for bronzing and contouring, I used the Park Avenue Princess from Tarte. The Hot Tryst is from NARS. Well, NARS is written all over the box, so I don't know why I'm telling you this. Okay, so it's a little dusty, but here is the Park Avenue Princess. I used this bronzer. Yes, I used this bronzer, this contour for my nose, and then I also used this as a highlight for high points on my face. So yeah, I really like this one, and part of the experience as well, it's not just that the colors are very nice. They're very powdery, but they're also very pigmented, so that's fine by me. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Anastasia formula. This smell is wonderful. In the morning, a vanilla scent to finish up my makeup is beautiful. And I thought I would mention I'm also wearing a lipstick. This is the new Pink Sheen by Lancôme. That's what I'm wearing. Just decided not to go with bare lips. I had lip balm on, and I thought, I'm looking so bare, how about I just put some lipstick on. And eyebrows are with the Anastasia Brow Wiz Medium Brown and the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. I'm doing a big battle of the brow products right now. I'll just link it up here if you want to see the intro to the products that I declared at the beginning, and then I added about 3 more, so just because. And so I am really comparing a lot of different brow brands, high-end and drugstore, and also different kinds, so pencils, waxes, pomades, just because I'm trying to get my head around what I like the best, powders too, and then reporting back to you. I figure if I'm doing the investigation, I might as well do a video on it. So anyway, we're gonna get into the palette. How's that? This puppy, right? I did wasn't a first impressions, it was a swatches and I guess first impressions of the packaging and the swatches. And I will link that video up in the cards as well, because I think that it can give some context. So I have not touched this palette since the video, although I did include it in my 8 holiday palettes to focus on in December. And this one, just like the Natasha Denona Aries palette, I don't know why they intimidate me. So here it is with all the names on it. Now there's a little bit of fuzz and dust on here, so let me just get rid of the stupid plastic. I will refer to it. And the problem with the plastic too is that you can put it both ways. So unless you pay attention to a couple of the shades, what the names are, you can easily put it back the wrong way and then call things the wrong thing. So I really dislike this stuff. I really dislike it. Okay, so but I have to keep it at the ready somewhere so I can refer back to it and I can tell you what I'm using. Although, I mean, they are all distinct colors. The only two that I think we could mess up are really the 2 light shades at either end. Hence my problem with the naming. And one of them is, I believe one of them is duochrome and one of them is not. So I'm just looking here. I did choose a bronzer, not a bronzer, pardon me. I did choose a blush that would go well with Corruption, this red. And I am inclined to use it. But the green is really the one, the Supernova I think it's called, is the one that kind of scares me a little bit. Just because I don't know how it's going to go with my eye color. But I think we really should use it. I'm going to go in with the medium brown matte to begin with in my crease, and we'll go from there. For that purpose, I'm going to use a fluffy brush that I was using earlier to set my eye primer. If you're curious, I just use whatever cream base I have. It could be Urban Decay Primer Potion, it could be the NYX highlighter on the brow pencil, it could be concealer. Anything goes as long as I can just kind of get my eye ready. I don't like to start with a tacky primer. I like to start with powder already setting the primer. So, going to go right into the medium brown, which is Burning Desire. Just putting a little bit on my brush and we'll see what happens. I have never used Pat McGrath shadows. I have the Gold Metamorphosis and I have no idea why I haven't used it. Okay, going nicely in. I'm going to go in again. I don't like when I have expensive shadows like this to tap my brush like crazy. I would prefer to go in with a lighter hand and then just build and build and build until I'm happy with it. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to do the same with the other eye, but I'll speed it up for you so you don't have to sit around as I do a second eye. Okay, I have the base basically done as far as a transition color in the crease. I don't do them very often, but I feel like doing that today. I think I'm going to do a halo eye with Corruption and Provocatrix. So, Corruption and Provocatrix. Provocatrix looks like a gold to peach duochrome, and then Corruption is a gold to burgundy fiery red. Corruption and Provocatrix. Those are the two that I am going to be using. Okay, so let's do this. I don't often use a flat brush, but I'm going to be using a flat brush today, just nothing fancy. Well, it's kind of a fluffy flat brush. I have these two. I'll try these two. I'm not sure. I think I'm probably going to prefer this one because of the precision I can have. And I'm going to grab another brush. Grab these two as well. This one really can give me a lot of precision for the inner corner, and I'm also going to grab my angle brush as well that I tend to like when I get into the corner. Okay, let's give this a shot here. I'm going to start off with the outside on both sides of my eye and then finish with the middle. I don't intend to use any sort of concealer or anything to define. I'm going to put it right on top. And I'm probably going to do the base with the brush and then finish with my finger because apparently a lot of these apply better with the finger. Has anybody used these yet with the glitter glue? I'm just curious. If you've had any experience with glitter glue as a base for this, I would be very curious to know. Please, please let me know in the comments. Okay, so I've got the outside edge done. Now I'm going to go and do the inside inner lid for the halo. Okay, so I have pretty much around the eye and concentrated on each side, on both sides. Now I'm going to go right in the middle with that lighter shade, Provocatrix, I think it is. I think I'm just going to use my finger a little bit with the, I don't know why I can't remember these names, Corruption. Just to see how much it intensifies the color. A little bit, a little bit. Just gonna get right in the edges here with the little brush. All right, I'm ready to go in with Provocatrix right in the center lid. So this is what it looks like before. Let's see what this bad boy does. I think it looks okay. Like I'm not having the wow factor that a number of folks who use Pat McGrath seem to have, but the reaction that is, but I mean it's not bad. It doesn't look bad at all. But I'm not I don't know. I'm not having a huge reaction. Maybe you guys are liking it. I don't know. Let's do a brow bone highlight and then I'll figure out what I'm doing on the lower lash line. We're going to go in with Celestial. This color right down there is what we're going to use. Oops. Trying to use the mirror on my ring light, but that's not the best. Okay. All right. And I think I'm going to take that little brush again and do a an inner corner highlight with Celestial as well. I don't like big amounts of inner corner highlight. I like to just do a little bit in that inner V at the corner of the eye. Just a tiny bit, just a tiny amount of sparkle. And I'm noticing I have a little transfer from the Corruption shade, so I'm just going to go clean that up and we'll do the lower lash line. Okay, I am back. I think I'm going to use the Morphe MB26 to deal with the lower lash line and get the palette again. Okay, so it is going to be the Supernova is the next one I'm going to use. And like I said, I'm going to use it on the lower lash line. I may pull in more Corruption underneath it, but we're just going to take it one step at a time. Anybody else make funny eyeshadow application faces? It's not just for mascara. So I decided to pull it all the way in, and I don't usually do that, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Yeah, I'll just do the other eye, I'll fast forward, and then we'll talk about it. So I'm just going to do one last step. I'm going to use a relatively fluffy crease brush, and I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that Burning Desire, I think it's called, and just work out any sharp edges around the Corruption shade, just because I think it's not quite blended properly. So I will do that, and then we'll talk. Okay, here is my final eye look with this puppy with just the shadows. I definitely want to put on some liner and some mascara. I think I will do that off camera and be right back. Okay, my eye look is done. If you are curious, I used the Le Crayon Kohl by Lancôme, and it is in 602 Black Ebony. It was part of the products that I got in a big holiday set. If you want to see that video, I will post it right here. Along with that, a number of other mascara products were included Définicil is one of their classics. Also this Cil Booster XL, which is a white primer. I find it makes my lashes a bit clumpy, but I have a lot of lashes, so this might not be the best product for me, but I'm trying it out. And then my absolute favorite, I am using the Monsieur Big mascara that also came in that set. I was just ecstatic. I love the brush on this, and this is definitely going to be my mascara of choice through the rest of the month because it is my favorite. Although I am saving the Stila Huge for right at Christmas because that was a gift from a friend of mine on my birthday. So anyway, moving on that, I just want to tell you what is on my lips. Now, this is a lacquer that came from the same set, and it's pretty dark, but I think it goes really well with the eye look. But the interesting thing about these lacquers is that so far, the ones I've tried, this is my first time trying this one, and it's called, does it have a name? Oh gosh, you know, I don't know why companies do this. They put black writing on a clear base on a dark color. How are you supposed to read that? It is, all I can read is the color, I think. Oh, it says not afraid. If I get the gleam in the right light, because of the light, I can actually see the ink. It's $4.90, not afraid is the color. Now, it's fine as a shiny lacquer, but the last time I used these, they stain a little bit. So it's a lacquer that, even though it's going to wear off during the day, it's going to leave a stain behind. So I thought I would dab and see if this one is doing the same thing. And I figured I would wait until I was on camera and we can find out together. So here we go. Before. After. So yes, it definitely leaves a stain. That's not so pretty. Better. Okay, so I think that looks good. I don't think I have a problem with it. I like the fact that it's just going to be a bit of a stain on my lips and will wear off just naturally. It almost makes me think of the stain that would stay on lips when I was a kid and you drink grape juice. Just makes me think of that. Anyway, we are done. I did set my face with Maybelline Master Fix before doing the eyes, so I won't set my face again, but this is the final look. I have no problem with that. I'm going to be walking around town with this look. So this is, of course, just a first impression eye look. I did a first impression swatches, and I think these are very pretty colors. I would be curious to do an all green and brown eye look. I think I went the safe route because the green, I didn't know if it would look all that good on my eyes, but I'd give it a 7 or an 8. It's not my all-time favorite eyeshadow. I know. I'm just not on the bandwagon. I just don't think they're that hot. But I'm comparing them to, hang on, I'll grab it. And I know they're duochrome. I get it. I'm not getting that much of a shift on my eye personally. If you're not into duochromes, I would really recommend some of the metallics from ColourPop. This palette anyway was phenomenal. I realize I don't think it's available anymore, but I really do love these colors, and it was like 20 bucks. That Metamorphosis is $70 Canadian, so this is way, way, way cheaper. Some others that I use that I really enjoy are the Estee Edit. It's no longer available, but just to show you that there are other options available, these are beautiful. I used this one in a recent video. I will put a picture, I think, up of that look. and I used the black and the shimmer. I used some of these guys, just beautiful golds. So I'm just saying that there are lots of options out there that are a lot less expensive than the Pat McGrath. Like, yeah, I mean, yes, it's pretty, but it's really expensive pretty, where I feel like I could replicate this look, and maybe that's what I should do. I should try to replicate this look with some other stuff in my collection. Now, I'm going to just amend that. If I were to use one of these duochromes in here, and maybe that is what the intention should be. If I had used Corruption or Provocatrix on its own, the shape of my eye would really have brought out the duochrome. And here I did a halo look. And I removed the ability of Corruption or Provocatrix of doing the duochrome shift. I kind of eliminated that ability for those two colors. So I think I may have messed up my first impressions by making that choice, but I don't do halo eyes often, so I thought I would give it a shot. So you know what? I'm going to do another one of these looks. I'm going to use this palette again in a demo because I think it may have been, not user error, because I think this look is fine, but I think a demo error. This may not be the best palette to do a halo eye just because of so many duochromes in here. So I think I'm going to do another look, but with one color all over the lid. And I'm probably going to use the Provocatrix color. No, not Provocatrix. What's the green one? Supernova. I'm going to use the Supernova all over the lid and just see what happens and see if it just does a natural halo eye. Okay, now I'm done. But yeah, there are a lot of beautiful palettes out there, beautiful colors, beautiful metallics, and I'm glad that I'm trying Pat McGrath. Don't get me wrong. And the one that's called Sublime Bronze or something like that, the bronze palette with the woman's face on it. It's kind of a, I'm gonna butcher it. I'll put a picture right here. That is the only other palette of Pat McGrath that in some way, shape, or form calls to me, but it's because of the toppers, the 4 toppers at the far right end of the palette, or at the top of the palette, whichever way you're looking at the palette, that really fascinate me. And but gosh, 170 Canadian's a lot to pay for 4 pans. That really interests me. So, and another brand that I'm really curious about is Linda Hallberg. And she has apparently a quad that's very similar to what those 4 pans in the Pat McGrath do, and those are $59 US to order. And she has some beautiful metallics as well. So I'm kind of tempted to try that brand before anything else from Pat McGrath. But yeah, now I'm just officially rambling, but those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this try on, and I would love to hear what your comments are down below. I guess I'm just not on the Pat McGrath train at this point, but who knows, maybe using this palette more now that I'm not intimidated and I've used 4 of the shades, that I will do some more colors and I will have, who knows, an evolving opinion. I'm open. I just am trying to understand. Thank you for your time today. And thank you for your patience with all my rambling and my just random thoughts. I appreciate your time very much. I really do. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.